up, guys? We are the Duderes, and we are coming at you with a special edition of Anime Overload.
And just kind of a special little, news segment discussion here. We want to talk about the changes that Toonami is going to be going through. What's happening to them and what we think that they can, do to get themselves back on track.
It was just recently announced that Toonami was only supposed to lose an hour of the block, but it has now been said that starting February 7th, Toonami is going to be losing 50% of the block, and it is only going to be airing from midnight to 3. So, and the new schedule will be the following: midnight, Dragon Ball Z. Kill la Kill has finally got its official time at 12:30. 1 a.m. is Naruto Shippuden. 1:30 is Inuyasha, the final act. 2 is Gurren Lagann. 2:30 is One Piece, and 3 o'clock is Deadman Wonderland. Now, Toonami has been airing since May of 2012, and so far, I would suppose, it's really just been straight up, in terms of popularity and all that stuff. It's just been going up, and everything has been going really well for it. This is the first quote-unquote bad news that we have gotten, I think, since its revival. At least from what I can remember, because it was extended to, it kind of doubled up, and then we got a bunch of new shows, and then we got movie months and all sorts of shit, and now all of a sudden they are cutting 50% of it due to ratings.
Well,
so, and this is really the only anime that's really left on television. There really isn't anymore. So, and in all honesty, it is quite the big deal.
I mean, for those of us that love anime, I know for me, and I can't speak for you, Todd, but Toonami was really kind of, aside from the random Sunday morning Fox Dragon Ball Z episodes, Toonami was really my introduction to anime. With Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Outlaw Star, all those old shows when they ran during the day. So for when they came back, that was big news for me. I love Toonami, and unfortunately, I feel like when they did come back, that they came back with a lot of weak shows. In my opinion, there was just a lot in there that was that's not stuff that I really, really super enjoy, and that's just my personal taste. But one thing that I feel that Toonami has consistently done, even back before it was taken off the air the first time, that's really done to shoot itself in the foot, is it reruns shows into oblivion. It reruns it so much that there's just no point in watching the block because it all ends up being reruns.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in agreement there. Toonami is what really introduced me to anime. I guess I might have started off with things like Pokemon, but man, Dragon Ball Z blew my mind back in the day. And then not Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, another one, was a big one. I don't really remember Sailor Moon. I think that was a little bit before I started watching Toonami. I think I was more of like 02, 03 maybe. Because that and Tenchi Muyo were things that I really don't recall all that much. So yeah, that, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, and then eventually evolved into Naruto. So yeah, Toonami really established, I would say, our entire generation, at least, from the ages of 18 all the way up to 30 or so, kind of established anime in the United States. So it really was a big deal back in the day, and it coming back was, another big deal. Came back from the dead, really, and it was a fan effort, and it is a shame to see what's happening to it at the moment. But like Jeremy said, it dug its own grave with how they did things, and now they have to dig themselves back out. Plain and simple. That's the situation.
All right, so, really, as far as the block goes right now, the ratings for each of the shows, it really varies from show to show. But one show that we can really, look at and see that it's been losing, viewers like crazy is One Piece. And with it kind of, hemorrhaging viewers at that point, you think that they would, get rid of it. find something else that could better hold people's attention. Because I know, as far as Toonami goes for myself, I never want to turn it on. I either want to turn it on and leave it on, but I never want to turn it on, watch something, go find something else to watch, and then come back to do it. If I would turn off Toonami, I wouldn't turn it back on. And I know that as far as for my personal taste, when One Piece comes on, Toonami goes off.
Well, I think Toonami's main problem is the fact that they're, I wouldn't blame it on one show specifically. I would blame it on the fact of its plethora of reruns. Some people say, well, Dragon Ball Z Kai is new. Well, I mean, everyone and their mother has seen Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion, should not have come back. That's just me, but I do not think it should have come back. I'm indifferent about Inuyasha. I know it's not a rerun, but still, I don't really think it belongs on Toonami, but that's just me. Then you've got Bleach, Space Dandy, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, IGPX, and Samurai Jack in the end. I am a huge fan of IGPX, but, that one and Samurai Jack and Ghost in the Shell and I guess Cowboy Bebop are all in this kind of like group of things that Toonami uses as filler in the end and kind of in the dead hours to fill up the rest of the block in this kind of arsenal that them, Adult Swim and Cartoon Network kind of own or have, extended period of rights to use. So I would say from, the time of, once the slot of Dead Man Wonderland is done, which is the 6th show to air, once Bleach starts, that's kind of where the ratings don't matter anymore, really. I guess all ratings matter, but it's the ones that they don't really care about all too much. But, like I said, we don't really need Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion. I think that one kind of needs to go. It wasn't doing too fantastic at the midnight slot. Cowboy Bebop has been rerun into oblivion. We've seen Ghost in the Shell a bunch of times. IGPX has only had 1 or 2 runs, so I guess that's okay. Samurai Jack has only had 1 run, so I guess that's okay as well. And they really want to try to keep a balance of action, anime, and action cartoons. But unfortunately, action cartoons are extremely hard to come by nowadays. So it's pretty much prominently like an anime-only block at this point, which in my opinion isn't a bad thing. But, like I said, it's reruns that are killing this block.
And, you're never going to hear me disagree with it that reruns are doing it. There are a few shows that we can kind of, point at and figure out that, ratings, drop with this particular show. And, and unfortunately, I don't, they haven't, either they've noticed the problem and chose to ignore it, or they've just been oblivious to the fact of what's been happening to it, and now it's too late, and they're, losing half the block.
Yeah, Inuyasha was beating both One Piece and Gurren Lagann on a regular basis, or at least Gurren Lagann. It was pretty much getting the same numbers as One Piece. So at that point, they just put it in front of it, and there's some nights, and it's clear that, for example, the Attack on Titan reruns, in my opinion, were extraordinarily unnecessary. Because as soon as they started, the block started losing viewers like no other. It's very clear that people do not want to tune in into these anymore, and that is overall killing the ratings.
So I guess, really the only thing Toonami can do is, one thing that would not be a bad idea at this point is poll your viewer base, see the kinds of things that they want to watch, and give them that. That's the best advice that I personally could give you, Toonami, is ask me, the viewer, and ask everybody else what they want to watch. And give them that, and then your ratings will go back up, and you'll have more time to give us more stuff.
A lot of people say that the block that was 6.5 hours, that was overkill. Some people said that it was overkill, that Toonami really didn't need that much that much time, and that this 3.5 hour block was what Toonami was back in its golden years. You know, this is what Toonami was, and maybe this is for the best. Maybe that this is something that's much more easier to contain and control and kind of focus on, rather than having literally 5 more shows.
And I would agree with you at that at a point. And I'll agree with I do agree with you there that it would be easier to manage a shorter block. But I think a lot of us have come to really enjoy, turning on the TV for 6 hours and there being nothing but, pretty much nothing but anime on there for me.
Yeah. DBZ Kai did have a pretty, like its first week of leading off the block. It got 1.3 million viewers. That is very solid. So who knows, even though I'm kind of against it being on the block since it's been on Toonami for years, maybe it's a very good lead off for the block. Following that is Kill la Kill, which, I'll say again and again, I think it's a fantastic addition to the block. I wish it was going to lead off the block, but I guess it won't. Naruto is another solid one. In my opinion, I've never ever been a fan of Inuyasha, so the sooner that gets off the block, the better. I'm not a fan of Gurren Lagann. I think Kill la Kill is just a much better package than that. So I hope they get rid of, hopefully that gets off soon. And then we go on to One Piece, which they have. And like we've just said, One Piece has not been doing well. And so you think, well, what needs to go there? What should go there? Well, One Piece is owned by Funimation. One Piece is action comedy. And One Piece is a long runner. Well, what is one show that fills every single one of those criteria? Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is dubbed. It's ready to go. It is extremely popular, despite some people saying otherwise, which is ridiculous. Give Fairy Tail a shot. Put Fairy Tail where, take One Piece off, push Gurren Lagann back, put Fairy Tail at 2, or put, Fairy Tail at 130, or something like that, because, I guess the only problem is they don't want too many long runners next to each other. But I say they've got nothing to lose. One Piece, is clearly having issues with it. I know One Piece is popular, and it is loved, but it's clearly not, as much as they need it to be for ratings. So, and I just don't think they have anything to lose with putting Fairy Tail on instead. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Jeremy.
I love Fairy Tail, and I think it would do great. But yeah, again, I'm not trying to hate on One Piece, anything like that, but I think Fairy Tail would do well in One Piece. In One Piece's place. The stories are pretty similar. They kind of cater to a slightly different audience. So I guess, it'd just kind of be an interesting experiment to see how it turns out. I know that there's a lot of people that badmouth Fairy Tail simply because they are One Piece fans, and they've never given Fairy Tail a chance to watch it. I've watched both, and there's some themes in One Piece that I like. There's a lot of things in it that I dislike. And it's the same goes with Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail has some stuff that I dislike, but there's a lot more in it that I do like. And I just think it's a stronger show overall.
I would definitely have to agree. I started watching One Piece when I was a kid, was never interested. I started watching it when Toonami came back. I'm like, maybe I should give this a chance. People do like it. It is popular. And again, I have just never been impressed with One Piece at all. And I think, Fairy Tail, when I came into it, someone just, was a huge fan of it. A friend of mine was a huge fan of it. And I'm like, it's just another long runner thing. I'm not sure if I really want to get into it. I tried it out. I'm like, holy crap, this is fantastic. Fairy Tail is charming and it's fun. And it's got the action people are looking for. I think the only issue that it's really got is that it's got a lot of slice of life stuff and comedy stuff that's really, not too Toonami-esque, and perhaps that's One Piece's problem. It's got a lot of comedy as opposed to Naruto and Bleach and DBZ Kai. There's a lot more serious action stuff than in One Piece and Fairy Tail. But Toonami, you've got really nothing to lose at this point, to be honest. It's time to experiment, see what works and what doesn't. It's clear that the 3 o'clock slot, Deadman, the 1:30 slot, and the 12:30 slot, and the 2 o'clock slot, rather. So you got 4 slots right now. It can be switched with all sorts of shows from, practically anywhere. Most usually from Viz, Funimation, and sometimes Aniplex. So, at that point, that's just kind of those are the really touchy ones, because long runners will be popular, so it's always kind of a debate of what to put there. But those slots, you could put anything there. I have a number of suggestions for those, but who knows what would be a good one and what wouldn't be a good one,
Yeah. And that, I guess, we'll just have to see. So, we'll see what they do.
It's just a matter of time. They do promise that Toonami is not going anywhere. The Intruder 2 is still coming. The Toonami comic is still coming, and lots of other fun stuff is still on the way. But we'll see how it goes. Let's fingers crossed that Kill la Kill is going to do a great job. I personally have faith in Kill la Kill that it will do fantastic. And I think it was an absolutely stellar move that Toonami got it. I think it was kind of inevitable. But, at the same time, I think this is one of the best pickups in quite a while, ever since probably Space Dandy, which was in the beginning of 2014. It hasn't really picked up anything decent since then, or at least not that I can remember. But, we'll see what they put in there. I've had suggestions like Sea Control or Birdie the Mighty, or Jormungand, which is like a spiritual successor to Black Lagoon. But, we'll see what they do. Hopefully they start making smart decisions from here on.
They could throw some Batum on there. I think that would do well as well.
Yeah, but the problem with that one is that one is owned by Sentai Filmworks, and, Toonami, since its revival, or I don't know if ever, but since its revival, they have never once aired a Sentai title. So I don't know what their deal is with them. I don't know if it's them just not getting along, or if something to do with rights, or something. But Toonami's just gonna have to suck up their pride, and if Sentai's got some titles that they think they can do well, and I do believe B-Toon would do fantastic. I think B-Toon would be a great addition. I think they should get it. I think they should. It's time to open the wallets a little bit, and try to grab that if possible.
Only the future will only the future will bring what's gonna happen to them. So we'll have to wait it out and see what happens.
And that, guys, is our discussion about Toonami and its current situation and what our thoughts are about it. If you guys liked the video, feel free to drop us a like or subscribe to us or give us a comment and tell us what you think. What do you guys think is going to happen to Toonami? Or do you think they're going to get back up on their feet? Or do you think this is the beginning of the end? Just let us know. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you next time.